poets, the culture is loud. White gun truths are told, feel the vibe all around. Nothing's off limits on the couch. Thursdays at 8, we air it out. Pull up, tune in, let's talk it out. Couch conversations left, no doubt.
Welcome to Couch Conversations. Thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate y'all for being back another night. I have a very good show for y'all tonight. Um, it's gonna be a good show. I hope y'all are ready for the conversation. I want y'all to tap in. Let's really talk about it. This is a subject I kind of touched on before. Um, but I came at it a little differently this time. I feel like it's something that needs to be talked about, and the points that I'm going to hit need to be talked about. Um, I've talked about mental health in the Black community before, and I don't feel like we talk about it enough. Um, but I threw in the trauma with it this time, the trauma and the mental health in the Black community, because a lot of the mental health issues are caused by the trauma that we don't address, that we don't talk about, that we don't want other people to talk about. And tonight I want to talk about it. I'm going to um, bring it all to the forefront. So let's get into this conversation, y'all. I got a little script that I wrote out. So if y'all see me looking down or flipping through the paper, just know it was because I took notes. Um, Tonight we gonna talk about two topics that go hand in hand. We don't discuss them enough in the community, and they are trauma and mental health. Um, a lot of our background, our families, our churches, the way we were raised, all of this impacts our mental health and how we deal with it. And a lot of people have mental health issues, don't know that they have mental health issues, don't know how to deal with them. And the reason that I decided to tackle this topic tonight was because of some things that were going on this week with myself and on social media. Um, One of the things on social media was, I know a lot of people seen and reposted the young lady Jasmine Jones that took her life. Um, a lot of people don't know the context. I was able to get some of the context, but apparently that day she went to funeral services for her little cousin. She was already dealing with some mental health issues leading up to this. She was with the family that night. They said she was giving them like cryptic messages, and then she unalived herself. She put up a Facebook post, and right after the Facebook post, she unalived herself. Um, I was really hurt by that. And it's not too much I see on social media that kind of makes me feel any type of way, because social media to me is like entertainment for the most part. People do have real life issues going on there, but for the most part, it's entertainment to me. And I can just kind of overlook stuff, especially because so many people be trolling. Um, but when I was reading through the comments, I went to her page and I went to her uh original post, and when I was reading through the comments of her family and stuff, like they really had no idea that she was suffering the way that she was. And I just kind of felt bad for the whole situation. Um, but tonight we're gonna create a space where we're gonna talk about this freely. We gonna talk about without judgment. Hopefully we could start some healing going on because I'm in a healing place. So hopefully we could start some healing going on as well. And hopefully y'all leave this conversation feeling better. Um, so let's define what trauma is and what mental health is. Let's start there. And trauma are the lasting emotional, psychological, and physical responses to deeply distressing events. So basically, anything can just about cause trauma. Um, it could be a car accident. Some people are traumatized from just different things. Earlier this year, we had house fires that people woke up to. I'm sure that was traumatizing. Um, I previously had PTSD from a car accident. Uh, so different things cause trauma. We are talking specifically tonight about the Black community. So I wanted to tell y'all some of the things that cause trauma in the Black community. Um, I'm not gonna get too much into racism and police brutality, but those things cause trauma in the Black community. I want to touch more on abuse, generational trauma, incarceration, and grief. I want to touch on those. And I also want to touch on church drama. Church trauma. I'm sorry, I said drama, but yeah, they go hand in hand. Church trauma. Um, Something happened this week that I'm gonna address as well that I have not spoke on live. I have said something in the comments on a few posts, but I'm gonna address that as well when I get to the church section. But I want to talk about some of these things. Mental health is the emotional, psychological, and social well being. So, mental health is your thoughts, your emotions, your decision making, and the ability for you to be able to have relationships with people, friendships, relationships, whatever type of ship that you need to be on. Situation ship. Everybody got their own ship. So, um, we're going to talk about it. I see you, Spook. Thank you for tuning in. Hey, cousin. I will message you when the show is over. Stay tuned in. I would like for y'all to be a part of this conversation. Okay, so trauma in the Black community, there's historical trauma, there's Black family trauma, Black church trauma, um and then there's daily lived trauma. So I'm going to try to touch on as much of this as I can. I'm going to try to stay within my hour, but y'all know when it comes to me, I do not have any specific times or guidelines for this show. And depending on the conversation, y'all know how I am. So we just going to get into the conversation. So historical trauma basically is like slavery, segregation, mass incarceration, the things that are passed through generations of trauma. And I'm gonna get into that. Before I do, I'm gonna ask y'all to share this live. Can y'all please share this live if you watching? We want to get people on the live. I really want to have this conversation with everybody. Ooh, I'm thirsty. Couch Conversations is sponsored by Hizzleade. Hizzleade. This is some very, very good alcohol. It's a cocktail. Let me tell y'all. Y'all could just pour it over ice and drink. Y'all don't have to mix it. Y'all don't have to do nothing. But it's sponsored by Hizzleade. I got to make sure I put that out there while I'm pouring my cup. Shout out to everybody at Ascot Records. You can get your Hizzleade at Ascot Records, record with a Z, LLC.com. Make sure you go grab you a bottle. If you need the information, go look on my page. The Couch Conversations, advertisement, videos, they all have the information on there. So shout out to our sponsors. Now, as we get into this conversation, so really, I want to talk about historical trauma, but we're gonna get back to that because what I really, really, really want to get into with this is Black family trauma. That's what I really want to get into. Hi, Vernon. Black family trauma. That's what I want to talk about right now, and then I want to get into church trauma because it's all gonna go and coincide together. Um, so one thing that I don't want to forget to talk about um Black family trauma is Black people over the years have had a like bad thing with telling people, your children, what goes on in this house stays in this house. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. My lips ashy, y'all. I'm sorry. I didn't have time to get ready for the show, y'all. See, I ain't got no makeup on. I'm dealing with my own mental health tonight. We gonna talk about that too. Um, y'all telling y'all kids what go on in the house, stay in the house, but then y'all not protecting the kids in the house, and that's what I have a problem with. Over the last, I want to say 5 years, because I want to say it started really during COVID. I started seeing a lot of women leaving their children with these men that they don't know, and the children are being abused. And the women are not protecting their children from these men, they are protecting the men. I have a problem with that because when you tell your children what goes on in the house stays in the house, and then the predator is in the house, who are they supposed to tell? Okay. So there's a lady that went viral a couple days ago. She's a teacher. I'm not sure what race or culture she is, but she was teaching the song about these are my private parts, private parts, private parts. These are my private parts, and you're not supposed to touch them. And if you touch them, and then she goes through a list of people to tell. She starts with mommy, daddy, and then she works her way down to teacher. And I thought that it was cool that she threw teacher in there because sometimes the culprit is mommy or daddy or somebody in the house. And then y'all telling them, don't tell nobody what going in this house or what going in this house, stay in this house, and then they just dealing with the abuse. That's trauma, okay? Y'all do realize that when children are traumatized as children, they grow up to be traumatized adults that carry their trauma into adulthood and then traumatize other people. I need y'all to know that trauma causes trauma. It's almost like a chain reaction, okay? So I'm gonna need y'all to be more open with your children. Um, when people are coming to y'all in Black families trying to discuss mental health with y'all need to be open and listening, because I'm gonna tell y'all what my biggest problem is. I am bipolar on paper, okay? Now, if you knew me before the paperwork came, I've always been a little to the left, all right? Always. I've always just a little to the left. But I found out about 10 years ago on paper I'm bipolar. So when I tried to explain this to certain people in my family, I heard somebody tell me pray about it. I heard somebody tell me we not claiming it. You don't need the medication, which I found out I don't need the medication. But it was just all these things. Nobody told me to see a therapist though. Do y'all know I only been in therapy for a year? I should have been in therapy 10 years ago when I was diagnosed bipolar. But my family told me to pray about it. Now, thank God, my mama got some sense, and my granny got some sense. My granny will tell you anybody. She don't care who you are, related or not. She gonna tell you you probably need to see somebody and get some help. She loves telling people to get some help. Okay. My mama, OG Arnite, is the one that let me know it is okay to see a therapist. Okay. Now, did I go when she told me? Not away, not right away. But she is absolutely the one that told me it is okay to go see a therapist. Okay. Um, we have to stop passing this trauma down to our children. because we traumatizing the children and we're making dysfunctional adults. Okay, this is part of the reason, and I'm gonna throw all of this in here together. This is part of the reason why some of y'all are looking for love, and I'm gonna be real, I'm one of them. And you can't find nobody to date because the dating pool is traumatized. Okay, if you are my age, if you are 40 plus, most of these 40 plus men have either dated or been married to some woman that has traumatized them and took half of their life by now. Okay, I did not realize that this was a problem until I started wanting to date. And they literally, it seems like I just keep meeting people with the same story over and over. Um, but I'm realizing this is a real thing. And women, we think men are the problem. But when you sit down and have conversations with these men, y'all are the problem. But that's a different kind of trauma I'm not going to talk about tonight. But we got to stop traumatizing each other in relationships, in families, um our children. We got to stop. We got to stop. Another thing with black family trauma, uh I notice now not as many people whoop their kids. Some of y'all need to be whooping y'all kids. Some of y'all need to be beating the shit out of y'all kids, okay? Some of y'all really need to pull out a belt, put their head between your knees, put that ass up in the air and let the belt go crazy. They need their ass whooped, okay? Some of y'all kids is pretty good and you ain't got to do that. But some of y'all just out here beating the kids just for the sake of beating the kids because you got your ass beat. Now you want to beat the kids. We got to stop just over disciplining. We got to have some balance with the discipline. Y'all got to get it together on that behalf. Um, and we're talking about generational trauma for those of y'all that are just um we gotta stop with that. But some of y'all do need to whoop y'all kids. Y'all kids I have seen out in public, and they are horrible. Okay, they are horrible children, and it's because you have allowed them to run your life and let them do what the hell they want to do. Some of y'all need to lasso y'all children like they do at the rodeo. I'm just saying. Okay, I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm just saying. Some of y'all need to get y'all kids together. Um, Another thing that we deal with black family trauma is favoritism. I might need to take 2 drinks on that. Now, let me tell you why this is gonna hit home for me. And I try not to talk my family business on here, but at this point, like, it is what it is. Everybody think I'm my grandmama favorite, okay? I don't know why this is the consensus in this family that I am my grandmama favorite. Let me debunk this for y'all right now while I drink this Hazelade. I am not my grandmama favorite. I am absolutely not my grandmama favorite, okay? When I say absolutely, I am probably at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to her favorite grandchildren. My grandmama know I'm dependable though. That's the difference. She ain't gotta like me to know I'ma show up. Okay. Now the reality is her favorite grandchild don't talk to her. Okay. And I have to hear about it because I live in the house with her. And I have to hear about her favorite grandchild don't talk to her. Okay. Now, whether or not her favorite grandchild knows that they're the favorite grandchild is a whole nother situation. But her favorite grandchildren don't talk to her. I am not the favorite. I need y'all to hear me on this because I am not. And this seems to be the consensus, and this has been the consensus of my family for years. We talking 30 years because I'm maybe 40. I'm 40, about to be 47. So we could be talking 40 years. I am not her favorite. I am the one that she can call and I'm going to show up. I am the dependable one. I am the one when she got sick that gave up their life to come back and take care of her. And she knows that I will do that. But I am absolutely not the favorite. I am the dependable one. So let's get that out the way while we talking about generational favoritism, okay? And I have seen favoritism go on in my family. I have seen different relatives treat different children, grandchildren, etc., cousins, nieces, nephews. I've seen them treat them different, right? Um, the thing is, now that I've gotten older, I see why. Okay. Um, I'm trying not to put too much of my family business in there, but I have a cousin that growing up, and I don't know if he know this or not. When we were growing up, everybody was jealous of him because he had a relationship with another family member that they all wanted, and this family member would do whatever they wanted for him, not for nobody else. Now, let me tell you what I have learned. I have learned that this cousin grew up to be exactly like the person that he had this relationship with. And he might not even know that he's like this person, but I love it. I love it because apparently that's the one that they decided to pour into that they felt like would allow what they were pouring in to sink in and sponge it up. And they did in their own way. Not exactly the same way that the other person did, but in their own way. And I love it. Sometimes we got to leave people alone because favoritism, it's not that it's not there because we know it is. It's just that you got to be careful who you call the favorite because everybody calls me the favorite and they don't know what I go through because I'm not the favorite. I'm just the one that's here. I'm the one that's dependable. I'm the one that's going to make sure my granny gets what she needs. But she don't like me like that. Y'all don't know how much I have to hear her telling me I need to go somewhere else. I need to get the she ain't gonna tell me to get the hell out, but she gonna tell me to get out. Um, she done told me 555 times I need to go find somewhere else to stay after I done gave up my house and moved to a whole nother state to take care of her. Um, I'm not the favorite. I'm the one that she know gonna make sure she get dinner every night. That's all I'm saying. Um, Also I want to touch on colorism because I have realized that this light skin, dark skin thing within families is really a thing. It is really a thing. It is really a thing. Um, how about going from the favorite to the black sheep after? Oh yeah, I'm going through that on my daddy's side. Going from the favorite to the black sheep. Now, what I did find out on my daddy's side, since I'm telling all my family business and I don't talk to my family anyway because they don't fuck with me for some reason. Um, what I had found out on my father's side was I low key was my granny's favorite. She raised her grandkids, but I low key was her favorite. I found out because when my grandmother was passing, okay, I'm not gonna say I was her favorite. Um, I was the one, okay, that reminded her of herself. I'll put it like that. When she was passing, I would go over and I would have these conversations with her about just the family and her life and different things like that. And um in having these conversations, she started telling me about, I was the grandchild that was most like her. I was the one she never worried about. I was the one she knew was always going to make it no matter what I chose to do, whether I chose to collect trash or go be a superstar. She knew whatever I put my mind to, I was going to do it. And just hearing her approvals of me and how much I was like her just made me feel amazing. Um I don't want to say I was her favorite, but I might have been cuz she did a lot of things for me that I really didn't see her do for the other grandchildren. Um but she could have been keeping that a secret too. But yeah, after she passed, I don't have a relationship with them people. During COVID, they set up a whole little family group chat um since we talking about black family trauma, let's talk about it. I could air this shit out. I don't care. They had a whole little family group chat, and I was trying to be part of their family Zoom meetings and group chats, and but then I started noticing they only replied to who they wanted to reply to. They only supported who they wanted to support, and I was not one of those people. I literally cannot see them anymore, and they probably wouldn't care. I'm no contact from my daddy. So I know somebody watching this probably gonna tell him about this episode because y'all love telling him what's on my Facebook. He don't talk to me and I don't talk to him, but he know everything going in my damn life. So yeah, if y'all want to share this with him, y'all can let him know he's part of my family trauma. If there's any of my cousins, my sister, my brother, anybody watching this that would like my dad, he can know that he's part of my family trauma, and this is why I went no contact with him. Um, it's hard to have a relationship with your parent when they didn't raise you. And as an adult, you take it upon yourself to try to have a relationship with them, even after they have let their spouse mistreat you. And then when you try to take it upon yourself to have a relationship with him, all he talks to you about are his other children and his stepchildren. So yeah, I went no contact. My dad commenced to telling me how his children owed him thousands of dollars, stepchildren owe him thousands of dollars, grandchildren owe him thousands of dollars, and he calling my phone over $75. 75. My daddy probably makes $75 an hour, and I'm not bullshitting. But he calling me over $75. Um, I was already on the verge of going no contact with him before that because I just got tired of the bullshit. Let's just throw it out there as it is. The bullshit. My dad talks about, I'm the one that has his back. I'm always the one that has his back. And he'll tell anybody this. If he need me, he can call me. But I can't do the same, and I have a problem with that. So at this point, I've chose to go no contact. And until I decide to talk to him, he can call, he can do whatever he wants. I don't want to talk. And I'm okay with that because this goes back to the favoritism. I'm not his favorite child. I'm the dependable one. I need y'all to all understand this. I am a dependable person. I am a loyal person. I'm a good friend if you are my friend. But yeah, I can't keep pouring into cups that ain't filling me back up. So I'm over it, y'all. I went no contact and I'm okay. At first, I was a little torn about it because that's my daddy. I love my daddy, but I can love him from a distance. And I don't have to hear about how horrible his other children are and what they aren't doing and how they're not doing certain things. And I'm not going to put their business out there, but I don't have to hear about it. He can take it up with somebody else. I don't owe him thousands of dollars. I owe him 75. So if anybody would like to tell my father this, he can have that $75 when he gets the other children to pay him back. How about that? Oh, rejection is protection. I've accepted that. I have accepted that. Cheers to that. I have accepted that. Because when I'm talking to my daddy and I'm hearing about my siblings, it's too much. And then sometimes they stuff starts spilling over into my life and then they be calling me with it. It's too much. Um Before I move on from black family trauma, it's another thing I want to address that I had started speaking on a little while ago was the silence around abuse and the lack of emotional expression. Um the lack of emotional expression is something that I really, really wanted to touch on because this is big in the black community. Um, Don't y'all ladies get tired of asking men? I mean, of people telling you, not asking you, of people telling you to be a strong black woman. It's okay, be a strong black woman. You a strong black woman. Y'all do know black fatigue is real, right? Sometimes people just get tired. They get tired of being strong. Sometimes we just need a break. Sometimes we don't want to have to carry the world on our shoulders. Sometimes I don't. Let me stay in touch with these comments. Thank you, cuz. You know what? I love my cousins. I just want you to say if your last name is Pleasant or you attached to a Pleasant, I love you. I love my cousins. I really do. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. And I hope y'all feeling better. I seen COVID was going back around and Lord Jesus. God bless everybody. Y'all stay safe out there. I don't know. I might need to go back to wearing a mask because I don't ever want to catch COVID again. I had it twice. Boy, I thought I was gonna die the first time. Um, Another thing is parents telling their little boys you don't want them to be soft or be a man and encouraging your boys not to cry. Chalk that shit up. Stay strong. Be a man. Y'all stop doing that to them kids. That's why we have all these emotionally unintelligent men running around here. And I know y'all know what I'm talking about. It's a lot of emotionally unintelligent men running around, baby. They get angry and don't have no words and they just tear shit up. I know some people like that. Let me tell y'all. Y'all need to do better with these children. I'm telling you, y'all traumatizing and raising dysfunctional children and they grow up to be dysfunctional adults, okay? Um Let me see if it's anything else I want to touch on with this black family trauma. Y'all better stop telling them kids what goes on in this house stays in this house, and y'all better show these kids how to trust and love other people. Um, yeah, it's real out here. Y'all don't want y'all kids to be. I'm telling y'all, you do not want to raise emotionally unintelligent human beings. You do not want to do that. Um, I used to work in special ed back in the day, a long time ago, like when I was fresh out of high school. I worked in special education. And yes, they are narcissist parents. Um, when I worked in special education, a lot of the children there didn't need to be there. And the reason that we ended up finding that out is because you have to get to the bottom of why they're not learning what it is they need to learn. And listening to children tell you what goes on in their homes is insane. And I'm going to tell you something. Teachers are mandated reporters. And if I would have started reporting what these children were telling me, um, it would have been a lot of disrupted homes. When y'all have traumatic things going at home, your children take that to school and it affects their learning and their learning process. They cannot concentrate on what's going on at school when they know they have to go back to a dysfunctional home or they left a dysfunctional home. Um, it's just so much to be said on this subject, and I'm trying to rush through it, but we got to do better. We got to start giving these children an outlet and and telling them ways to cope and handle themselves when they're going through things because mental health in children it's real as well. Um, it's more, and I'm just going to be real. This is just my opinion. It's more serious in children than in adults because a lot of children don't have the capacity to verbalize what they're going through or how they're feeling. And when they can't verbalize it, they try to show you, and sometimes showing you might not be the best way. Um, a behavior problem and a learning disability are two different things, and it, believe it or not, most of the children in special education have behavior problems stemming from home and not necessarily learning disabilities. It's something usually underlying that's stopping them from learning. And then they put them in special education thinking that an IEP is going to help. But sometimes it's deeper than the IEP. Sometimes it is learning disabilities. But I have to say, 80% of the children that came through my class were having behavior problems due to things going on at home, and their learning problems stem from things going on at home. It wasn't because they were like dyslexic or had ADHD, or it wasn't any of those things, because we weren't even giving the children in my class any medication. So that let you know they didn't have no like mental problems. So yeah. Um I want to get to this black church trauma. This show gonna be longer than an hour. I'm telling y'all now, because black church trauma finna have me going in. Now, black church trauma starts with the pressure to appear spiritually perfect. Okay? And my problem with that is ain't nobody perfect. Nobody. Nobody. Ain't nobody perfect but the man, okay? Ain't nobody perfect. That's all I'm saying. And for some reason, there is this stigma that you know, if things don't appear perfect, that something's wrong, or you're sinning, or those type of things, right? I put up a post the other day about everybody's ministry is not the same, and I included myself in the post. And the reason I included myself in the post was because earlier this year, I quit my church. And I have not been to church since. I do believe this occurred in April or May, but I have not been to church since. Now, I have been attending church online at another church that my son play at. Will I ever go back to my church? Probably not. I've been in this church my entire life. My mother was a member, my grandmother was a member, my great grandmother was a member, my cousins, uncles, aunties, everybody I'm attached to. Our family was born and raised in this church. I can literally say I served diligently in my church. My first song I ever sung, I was 2 years old. It was in my church. I can tell you what it was. It was Sign Me Up for the Christian Jubilee. The first time I ever sung nationally to a large crowd was in my church at the National Convention. First time I ever fundraised, it was for my church. My first sleepover was outside of my family, the people from the church. My godparents are from the church. My children's godparents are from the church. So I'm just letting y'all know how far into the church I am, or was. My whole goal when I came back from Vegas was I built a career for myself in music, and my church poured into me musically. Um, a lot of people might know Reverend Pay. Reverend Pay poured into me musically. Bishop Redding in Indianapolis, Indiana, rest in peace. He poured into me musically a lot, a lot. As did his son, Paul. I love you. So the one thing that I wanted to do was use my gift to build my church. You know, it's hard to build a church when they treat you like they don't want you there. The sarcasm, the smart comments. I became the minister of music because nobody else had been minister of music for apparently 3 years. They had an empty spot. My brother is the music director, but he does not want to be the minister of music. So we decided we would work together. Do you know how hard it is to be the minister of music when every time you're trying to do something for the church, they're talking to you like, oh, you think you better than us, huh? All I'm trying to do is come in here on Sunday and sing praise and worship. Now, this is the reality of the situation, and I'm just going to tell y'all how I feel. Anybody that has ever asked me to perform, except for Drag Tickety, because I'm a cast member, they know I charge anywhere from $50 to $100 a song. Now, do I sing R&B? Yes, I do. I got one song, and I might sing you some cover songs, but gospel is where I started. So yes, I do occasionally go out and do gospel gigs, and I charge anywhere from $50 to $100 a song. I never asked them for any pay. I never asked them to pay me to be the praise and worship leader. I never asked them for nothing but to let me raise money for the church because that's my job to raise money for the music department. And to make sure that I knew my job description, I talked to everybody over me. I went down the chain of command because I wanted to make sure I was doing the right thing. But when I'm trying to raise money for the church and y'all want to charge me to use the church, why am I here? When I'm trying to raise money for the church and y'all talking to me crazy, why am I here? So what I did was the money I raised, I gave it to them and I left. Now, why I was hurt and I left? Because the money that I raised for the church, I raised on my own. The church did not help me. Me and my friends came together. Thank you to all my friends that participated in my Let's Church fundraiser last year. My friends. Me and my friends came together to raise money for my church that they don't go to. And my church treated me like shit. Church I grew up in. I didn't raise thousands of dollars for this church over the years. Thousands. Yeah. Church I've been baptized in, or excuse me, christened in. Church my children was christened in. My son go? I don't. I will probably never step foot in that church again unless I absolutely have to. Black churches do not know how to treat people. And they give us this trauma that we carry out into the world. And we're supposed to be out here ministering to people and to try to minister to somebody about music when you're hurt behind the music of the church is the worst thing in the world. That is the worst feeling in the world. To be hurt by the church and still have to try to minister because you know your calling. And even in the midst of that, people telling you your life ain't together and you need to do this and you need to do that and you need to do this. Like God don't talk to me. God talk to me. If he told you, he told me first. The church don't want to talk about mental illness. You ever seen somebody with a mental illness walk in off the street into a church, they gonna have security or the deacons or somebody take them out instead of praying for them. Have y'all seen how the church treat people? Now, I was always told, did they reach out to you for your effort or thank you for your contribution? Hell no. Hell no. They didn't even care that I left the church. How about that? Nobody has called me except for two people. Shout out to the Watsons. I love y'all. Nobody has called me since I left that church but the Watsons. Shout out to the Watsons. I love them. And had it not been for the Watsons, I wouldn't have even been able to use the church to raise the money to begin with. But shout out to the Elder Watson, Pastor Watson, Reverend Watson for helping me. Your life ain't together. That's why you at church, because it's an institution, it's a hospital. Just because you are a fellowship doesn't mean your life is together. That's why you are there. So I was always told as a child, church was a hospital. Now, I've worked in the hospital, so let's talk about it. Because if y'all know me, y'all know I done had 25 occupations. So let's talk about the hospital, because I worked there for 2 years. Now, at the hospital, when you come in, it's a lobby, right? In the lobby, you have the visitors, the people that are just here to visit. They gonna come see who they want to see, and they gonna leave. Then you have the people that are checking in for an outpatient procedure. They here, they gonna see the doctor, they gonna have something done real quick, and then they going home the same day. It ain't that serious. They just need a small procedure, just something small done. Then you have admission. That's where you go when you're gonna have to do a prolonged stay. It's not an emergency. You got an appointment to come check in, and you check it in for your long-term stay. That's regular admission. Then you got the emergency room. This is where you come to when it is absolutely emergency. You can't take it. The pain, whatever it is, you just can't take it no more. And you go to emergency because you need to be seen right now. You need to be treated right now. You need to be dealt with right now, or you're going to die. Okay? It's even more floors than that. But we got the ICU, we got recovery, we got all that at the hospital, right? The church is the same way. When you come in, you got people there visiting. All they doing is looky-looing. They want to see what the hell going on. They want to see who in there. They want to see what musicians is going to play this week. They want to see what choir member showed up. Who going to do praise and worship? Who going to preach? What he going to preach about? That's the lobby, right? You got them. Then you got outpatient visitors. You got people that come in every now and then just because they need a recharge. Woo, something ain't right. They need to be rebalanced. So they come, they get their outpatient procedure, and they go. Bam. They back at it. Then you got people that's really under something and they don't know what it is. So they being admitted. This is going to be some long-term care so they can get to the bottom of it. They need to be just all the way, just research from the top to the bottom, because this is long-term admission. So that means they here, they want to learn the Bible, they want to be baptized, they want to go through the whole process. It's the long version of the process. They want to do it. Then you got the people that's like this. I need you now. Right now, this is an emergency. If I don't get it right now, Lord, I ain't gonna make it through the night. And most of the time, that's who you find at church. The people that are there, because they don't know where else to go. They in pain. They got cuts and wounds, and people keeping salt in them, and they trying to get them stitched up. But for all of this to work, we got to have doctors and nurses that know how to care for these people, right? You don't send a gunshot victim to the OBGYN, right? But this what we doing at the church, y'all. This what we doing. We sending emergency victims to outpatient. We telling them to go sit in the lobby. We'll be right with you. Y'all got people dying on the altar. And y'all telling them, hold on, we gonna be there. I'm gonna be right with you. I'll be there in a little while. That's how y'all out here treating people. And it's sad. It is so sad that people are being hurt in the church more than they are in the street. Now, let me get to what I want to address. David Jackson, I hope you watch this. If somebody can you tag David Jackson, please? I think he should see this. Let me see if I can tag. I want David to be encouraged. Because what happened the other day was a prime example of Black church trauma. Y'all do not know when to stop judging. Y'all do not know when to stop. Everybody's ministry is not the same. Everybody's ministry is not in the church. Even in the church, everybody's ministry is not the same. That's why we got the deacon board, the usher board, the reverends, the doctors, the young evangelists, the youth choir, the big choir, the old choir. That's why. Because everybody's ministry is not the same. And for y'all to think that just because somebody is a child, and David, I don't want to refer to you as a child because you're actually a young man and you're about to be a grown man, a teenager, because he still has age on his age, teenage, like he has teen on his age. I just need him to know that he is loved. And I need him to know he did nothing wrong. God could use who they want to use. God can genuinely use who he wants to use. It don't matter how old you are, what you've been through. Let me tell y'all, and I don't really talk about myself on here as far as what I've lived, and y'all know it got to be something like mental health for me to start talking about my business. I tell people all the time, my ministry is not in the church. It's not, okay? My ministry is for young women, and I'm going to leave it at that. The reason my ministry is not for church is because, for one, I've already seen that the church don't respect me because I'm not the idea of what someone who ministers should look like. So that's the first thing. And I'm okay with that. I am totally okay with that. I am totally okay with that. Let me tell y'all, I done been to jail. Am I ashamed I've been to jail? No. I've been a few times. Most of the time, it had nothing to do with me. I was associating myself with the wrong people. A couple of times it did have something to do with me. But am I ashamed? No. I've never been ashamed any time that I've went to jail. It's never been a secret that I went. I never tried to hide it. I've been in abusive relationships. I've been in all kind of situations, homeless. And I know people think that you shouldn't be homeless when you have a family, but sometimes you go homeless to get your own peace of mind and figure it out. Sometimes you can't figure it out around your family. So I've literally been through it all. And do I have complaints? No, because it wasn't for me. I told somebody else this the other day. It wasn't for me. I remember the very first time I went to jail, the girl that was in my cell with me told me, God told me to tell you that this is not for you. You're going to go through things for other people. And that's okay. I was in a mentally, emotionally abusive relationship for 5 years with a narcissist. And the funny thing is now I can talk to my friend about being with the narcissist because she was so lost. So I gave her some game. And that's when I started realizing none of this was for me. Going to jail wasn't for me because I didn't have to talk to a couple people about jail. And let me tell y'all, when people go to jail, y'all have to have a little patience with them and give them grace. And I'm not just talking about peeing, I'm not talking about doing time. If you know somebody that's been arrested and been to jail and booked and they've spent the night or two, especially two, if they didn't spend 2 nights, give them some grace. If you've never been to jail, you never know what people have to go through when they go to jail. Because, baby, let me tell you, it's an experience. I would never wish my worst enemy to go to jail. Never, never. Because that is a level of trauma that I don't think you ever get over. Since we talking about trauma and mental health, that's a level of trauma you never get over. That's some mental health that you have to deal with for the rest of your life. Okay? And I'm going to tell you, if you've never been to jail, people that have been to jail do not like small spaces. And I know y'all think that they just tripping and they crazy. No, I'm telling you. After you'd have been in that small space for a long time, you do not want to be in a small space. Y'all have to deal with and give people that's been to jail, give them some grace and let them deal with their mental health in the way that they need to. Because, baby, let me tell you, self-isolation, or because that's what I'm gonna call it, self-isolation. Because when you go to jail, you done did something. Self-isolation is horrible. And it gives you a level of anxiety and depression and PTSD that you will never know unless you've been there. Okay. But I'm tying this in with everybody's ministry is not the same. It's just not the same. Congratulations on getting off parole. I get off probation in January. I can't wait. Okay, y'all gotta stop with this church trauma. David, let me get back to David. David Jackson, I just want you to know that you are loved no matter what was said about you, no matter what was posted. You know people love you and you know that people have your back. And I want you to be encouraged and know that God is using you for a reason. Because what a lot of older people don't realize is that people that's 17 and 18 years old don't want to talk to them, but they'll talk to you. I'm just saying. I, I'm 47 and I don't want to talk to half of these people, but I talk to you. So let the Lord use you in the way that you're supposed to be used in whatever that is. That's all I'm going to say. Because my calling ain't the church. My calling ain't the church. And I'm okay with that. It took me a long time to be okay with where I was in my spiritual walk. It took me a long time because the church had me thinking I was doing it all wrong. And somebody came to me and told me, that's not your place. You in the right place and you doing what you're supposed to do. And I want y'all to know that perfection is not, I'm not going to say it's not possible, but it ain't possible in this life. The Bible already has told us we have all fallen short. We have all sinned and fall short of the glory of God. So perfection is done with. So for y'all to be trying to run around and with this appearance of perfect spirituality is retarded. Okay, nobody is perfect. I don't care if you saved. I don't care if you've been baptized. You can speak in tongues, spit all over the church. You're still not going to be perfect. Okay, you're not. You're not. I don't care how old you are. So if God wants to use 17-year-old David to talk to 46-year-old Danny. I'll probably listen to David before I listen to half of y'all preachers, because I done figured out half of y'all don't even know the damn Bible. But that's a whole nother situation. Yeah. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I tell people all the time, you have to meet people where they at. And one thing about a 17-year-old is he can meet a 17-year-old where they at. Whereas a 60-year-old can't meet a 17-year-old where they at. Okay? So y'all need to leave people alone, and you don't know what God is doing in people's life or how he's using them or what he's using them for. Okay? So, David, congratulations. God bless you on your degree, love. You know Danny gonna support you no matter what, because you support Danny. And you know Danny gonna listen to when you talking, because Danny want to hear what you gotta say. Because baby, it's some intelligence going on up in that 17-year-old head. Okay? I want y'all to know that. If you ain't talked to David, you probably need to sit down and have a conversation with him, because baby, he know that Bible. He know it. Better than some of y'all pastors, okay? And while I'm getting on y'all pastors, he lives better than some of y'all too. Some of y'all need to stop. Because I didn't see some of y'all outside of the church. I know some of y'all personal business, but I ain't gonna call nobody out, okay? Y'all side chicks. Some of y'all single pastors out here trying to act like you living holy, and y'all sleeping with y'all congregation. Y'all think don't nobody know this stuff? Baby, y'all crazy. Let me tell y'all something about a woman and a man. If a woman's sleeping with a man that she wants, she gonna tell somebody, and somebody gonna tell somebody. So y'all out here doing stuff and think y'all don't. That's why you supposed to stay in your lane. I stay in my lane, and I don't judge. You want to know why? Because I don't want nobody judging me. It ain't my business. I don't care what you doing. It ain't my business. One thing people will tell you about me is you could be smoking crack, and I ain't gonna say nothing. It ain't my business. I got my own sins to deal with, and my sin ain't no greater than yours. Let me tell y'all something. And I had to tell somebody this. Somebody asked me, why was I friends with a crackhead? I said, well, first of all, they functional. I love a functional crackhead. I've had several functional crackhead friends. That's one thing. Second of all, I smoke weed. And of course, y'all see I drink because I've been sipping on this his leg. What's the difference between me smoking weed and the crackhead smoking crack? I wait, because I probably spend more money on weed than the crackhead do on the crack. I'm just saying, because I smoke some good shit. I'm just saying. I might. Same addiction, different drug. That's all I'm saying. What's the difference between me smoking weed and the crackhead smoking crack and the nigga down the street sleeping with all the hoes? That's a sex addiction. Same addiction, different drug. You see what I'm saying? Some of y'all addicted to lying. Some of y'all addicted to eating. And I'm gonna tell y'all this, since we talking about black church trauma, because that's why I'm really like, y'all be killing me with this. So I tell people all the time, when black people after church on Sunday go out to eat, everybody sits at the table and sins. They just walked out the church and then they go sit at the table and sin. Y'all trying to figure out how, huh? Y'all trying to figure it out? Yeah, because y'all know gluttony is a sin, right? So when you sit there at the table and eat till you can't eat no more and your stomach full, and then you unbuttoning your pants and sitting back at the table, oh, you so full, your ass then sat there and sin, but you want to talk about the blunt I'm smoking in the parking lot. What's the difference? Sin is sin. This is why, and I'm gonna tell y'all this. I'm about to ruffle some feathers with this, and I said I was gonna leave this alone, but this is why I leave LGBT people alone. I leave them alone. And I'm going to tell you why. Yes, the Bible says it's an abomination, all of that. All of that. I get all of that. Y'all want to tell me I get all of that. But it's not my place to judge. You want to know why? Because some of y'all out here doing some freaky shit with your wives and your girlfriends. The same shit these gay people doing that y'all just don't want nobody to know about. I'm just saying. I didn't heard some stories, about what y'all be asking people to do to y'all. And that's some gay shit too. So just because you got a woman doing it don't mean it's different. And then it goes back to sin is sin. It's not my place to judge. God gonna deal with everybody. Your scamming is not worse than the LGBTQ community. Y'all need to really. I'm gonna leave y'all alone. Y'all in this black church trauma. I'm just saying, black church trauma. Y'all gotta learn how to treat people, because the black church is like the source of so much trauma. It is sad. It is sad. Let's just keep it real. The black church is the source of allowing the LGBTQ community in and then bashing them. Just don't let them in. Stop letting them direct the choir if you're going to talk about choir director. I'm just saying, okay? The black church is normally where most black girls, and I hate to say this, but this is the truth, it's usually the black church or school where most black girls' confidence gets destroyed. Y'all want to talk about that? It's usually the place where you get torn down the most because you ain't living right. The black church is the only place where they want you to be married, but you can't date. How am I supposed to find a mate if I'm not dating? I've never got that. We just supposed to meet and pray and get married, huh? Because the black church is weird. That's the only place. That's the only place where I've seen you want your pastor to be married, but y'all don't want to see him date nobody. And then y'all be mad when he just pop out married because he been secretly dating because y'all don't want him to date nobody. The black church is so much trauma. It is so much trauma. Like, the black church is who is keeping Tyler Perry rich. I have a problem with this. Tyler Perry is one of the main sources of exploiting black trauma. And it is the black church that is keeping this man's pockets lined and filthy rich. Let me tell y'all, it took me forever, but I finally watched Straw the other night. And boy, let me tell you, that movie was so unrealistic. For all the people that said, oh yeah, this will happen in real life. No, it won't. That would not happen in real life. I'm sorry. I have understood that you can have a series of events that happen and cause you, to have a breakdown. And it can be the last straw. But the series of events that Tyler Perry put together, it was so traumatic. Like, before she even got to the bank, I was so done with the movie. The bank was probably what kept me interested, because that's really when I really the black church and black trauma go hand in hand. It really, really does. Okay, and then look, I'm over my time, but I'm gonna keep going because I really want to finish this topic. I need to talk about how we pass trauma down from generation to generation. Parents taking their children to black churches, dysfunctional black churches. This is what I want to say, dysfunctional black churches, because all black churches are not dysfunctional. I've actually been to some black churches that I loved. Um, yeah, it's some good black churches out there, but these old school singing songs from the grave black churches, they traumatic. Um, Stop telling your kids what happens in this house stays in this house. And I'm going to keep saying that. Stop telling your kids that. You got to give your kids a safe space. If you don't want them telling everything and telling all your business, you got to designate a person that they can talk to outside of you and be able to to talk things out with. Um, one of the impacts of all of this trauma passed through generations from the church, all of these things, it causes difficulty in trusting people. It causes people to have the lack of expression of their feelings. We have to start breaking these cycles. We have to. We have to start breaking these generational curses. We have to. We cannot allow the Black community to stay in the space that it is in. And let me tell y'all something. Y'all women out here raising these little YNs and y'all think it's cute. That shit ain't cute. It's not cute at all. Your child is a menace to society. This is what I was saying earlier about whooping y'all kids. Some of these kids need to be whooped. Like, we don't want to have harsh discipline, but some of y'all kids need to be whooped. Because y'all think this is cute, and they are out here being little menaces to society and tearing up stuff. And then when they go to jail or they get killed, the whole family want to talk about how they didn't hurt nobody and they wasn't doing nothing and they would never. Y'all need to control y'all children. Control them. Because all of the trauma that you put on your children will cause them to grow up to be dysfunctional adults. We have enough dysfunctional adults in this world. And at the time we living in right now with Trump as president, we sure don't need no more dysfunction. We need everybody to be on the top of their mental health game because we never know what's going to happen. And whatever happens and whatever break out, we need to be ready for it. I'm just saying. We got to stop trying to dismiss people's mental struggles. We got to stop trying to act like mental health is not a serious thing. We have to stop dismissing people's feelings. We have to stop doing that. We have to stop expecting women to be strong Black women all the time. We have to stop telling men to suck that shit up and be a man. Men got feelings. Men cry. I've seen. Lord, we ain't gonna talk about I've seen men cry, but yeah, I've seen men cry. You know, whether it was sincere or not is a whole nother story. But yeah, we gotta stop just telling them to suck it up and be a man. I don't want to say this, but I'm gonna say it because I was really torn about this when it went into my notes. Sometimes when people going through stuff, they don't want to hear y'all tell them to pray about it. And I know that might be the answer sometimes. But I remember a long time ago, my best friend was going through something. And I was telling her, girl, just pray about it. And she said, if one more person tell me to pray about it. And I couldn't understand why she felt like that. But sometimes when you're going through stuff, you don't want nobody to tell you to pray about it. So let me tell y'all something. Just a word of advice. A word of advice. A word of advice to everybody out there listening, no matter what side of faith you on. When somebody is going through something, don't tell them to pray about it. If it's that serious and you feel like it need prayer, be the intercessor and pray for them. How about that? Because let me tell y'all, sometimes when I'm going through stuff, I can't pray. I can't find the words. I can't even get my thoughts together. Because if you see me when I get upset or when I'm struggling with something, mental health wise, everything shut down. My words, my thoughts. I can't pray. Sometimes I be going through so much, I have prayer ADD. And I can't stay focused on the prayer because my mind is on what's going on. Stop telling people to just pray about it. Sometimes you need to just listen. And then when they done, say, okay, I'll pray for you. I hope I'm helping somebody tonight because we got to do better. We got to do better. We got to stop discouraging people from going to therapy. We got to stop discouraging people from getting help. We have to stop encouraging traumatic things, traumatic events, traumatic. I'm going to tell y'all, I have black trauma. And I'm going to tell y'all what I mean by that. I hate to go in spaces where there are thousands, or I'm going to even say hundreds, because too many hundreds can get on me. Hundreds or thousands of black people at one time. This is a form of trauma. Every event that I have been to, and there have been more than, I'm going to say 200 to 300 black people there at one time, something happened. Shooting, fighting, something happened. It never fails. The only place I feel safe at is praise in the park. I could be in the park with 300 black people and nobody is acting a fool. I have been to churches where I didn't have to pack up my family because somebody didn't want it to come and pull up at the church with a gun. I went to a park to an event. Niggas start drinking and want to shoot up the event. I'm telling y'all now, if it's 250 or more black people in liquor, don't invite me. You can invite me to a cannabis fest. Cause see, I done been in a room with 200 black people and weed and no liquor. That's different. Oh, let me tell you, the cannabis fest. Oh, you can put me in a room with 200 black weed smokers. We gonna be good. But this and black folks, and I ain't gonna lie, I'm probably one of them. Cause if I get to drinking too much, we don't know what's gonna happen. But y'all pray for me because I've been traumatized by my own race. And I need help. Ooh, I'm gonna have to talk this out with the therapist tomorrow. You know what, y'all? I just realized that. Okay, my last topic for tonight, and then we gonna close this down. Mistrust of medical health providers. Black medical trauma. Black medical trauma. To the old school methods, all the old school methods, herbs and castor oils, and I don't feel comfortable in the doctor's office. And I'm gonna tell y'all why. And then I did some research and found out, okay, this is really a thing. When you go to the doctor's office and you're a black person and you're in pain, you're disregarded. They gonna tell you off top you trying to get some drugs. If you can get past them thinking that you're there for drugs, they still not gonna take you seriously. Black people are the most mixed diagnosed people on the planet. They are the most undertreated people on the planet. Their pain is dismissed more than anybody on the planet. What made me give up on the healthcare system was back in 2011, March 4th, 2011. I'll never forget that day. I went in for outpatient care, one night in the hospital to have back surgery. I had a herniated disc. They went in to shave the disc down. They had to take parts of it out and look at the other herniated disc. When I went to have the surgery, the doctor told me you should be able to walk out of the hospital. So when it came time for me to leave, I was not able to walk. I was on a walker. I kept telling them something didn't feel right, something hurt, something wasn't right. I went back and forth to the doctor. 2 weeks after getting out the hospital, he took the walker and told me, go to physical therapy because you're not supposed to be on the walker. I'm telling him, something in my back is not allowing me to walk properly. I couldn't stand straight up. Only thing keeping me straight up was they had me in this vest. It was supposed to be a vest for my back to keep my back straight so it can heal. And I kept telling them something back there ain't right. They ignored me March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. Finally, in November, they told me, go have another MRI. When I went and had the other MRI, it caused me to have a second back surgery because the first back surgery did not heal properly from something that they did in the surgery. So my pain was from something that didn't go right in the surgery that they were dismissing. And they were trying to send me to physical therapy, but physical therapy was making it worse. So I'm giving y'all this because a lot of people don't even know what happened to my back, but I'm telling y'all today. I went in for the second surgery. That was supposed to be a corrective surgery of the first surgery. They asked me to come back for a third surgery. Now, at this point, no way in hell. I decided whatever the pain was, whatever the pain levels were, whatever the damage was, I would live with it. Because after 2 surgeries, y'all still ain't got it right, and we could have had this corrected and over and done with if y'all would have listened to me when I told you it was hurting and something was wrong back there. Now, the best doctor I ever had, I don't even know if he's still alive. I hope he's somewhere on the island with his feet kicked up with his wife, but his name is Nishat Atia. That is who delivered my children. He was my doctor from the time that I was 15 until the time I was in my early 30s, my late 20s. Dr. Atia took my pain seriously. Dr. Atia did not play about his patients. So when I had things going on up until then, I was able to get them corrected fast and in a hurry. Shout out to Dr. Atia that performed my cosmetic surgery when I had Andre because I had a horrible scar on my stomach. And he did a beautiful cleanup. But we don't have a lot of representation in the medical community. So when we complain of things, it goes untreated, unlooked at. They don't really care. They don't really care. It's just another black person complaining, another black person trying to get some medicine. If you black and you have high blood pressure and they prescribe you Leprenicil, Leprenicil. I know I might not be pronouncing it right, but I'm correct. If you got it, you know what I'm talking about. Do not take it. They know this is bad for black people. It has been proven to be bad for black people, and they will still give it to us. That lady gave me some Leprenicil, had my face swelled up so big, my lips were swelled up so big I couldn't even close them. But they know this, and they still give us this stuff. Don't let them dismiss you. But see, I'm at the point now where I'm kind of like self-diagnosing. I ain't trying to be funny unless it's something serious, because I'm I'm not spending no more time in the emergency room for them to send me home. Literally, the last time I went to the emergency room, the doctor didn't even look at me. She literally signed me out and sent me home. So I'm not finna deal with that. Um, we have daily stressors that affect Black mental health: racism, microaggressions, workplace tokenism, workplace bullshit. Period. A constant need to prove competence. For those of you that don't know, I just been this whole Black trauma thing just got me on one. A lot of people don't even know how I started working for Danny Boy. So let me tell y'all this story because it all goes black to some Black trauma. I had been working in fast food. Hey, Jason. I had been working in fast food as a manager. I had never worked a regular crew job in a fast food place. I went in as a manager and I was always a manager or a manager in training. So at this point, I had worked at Tropical Smoothie, Popeyes. Now, let me tell y'all why I left Popeyes. When I went to work for Popeyes, there was a Black manager, a Black district manager. They saw that I came in from another restaurant with management experience, so they wanted to train me and put me in my own Popeyes. So we started training for me to go to my own store and be a restaurant manager at my own store instead of being on the management team at the Popeyes that I was working at. Unfortunately, the same week that our store manager retired, which was a very nice Black man, he retired to go drive trucks with his wife. The district manager who was taking over our store, her husband was in a very bad car accident. And they sent us a Latino slash Mexican manager for the district. So when she comes in and she's trying to figure out what's what and what's going on, I started explaining to her about I was in training for my own store, and if she went into the computer and looked, she could see the training that I had already did. And she basically told me no, she found somebody else that was better deserving of the place, and she gave the Mexican girl the job. Okay, fine. I went on. I got tired at Popeyes after a while, and I ended up quitting. I went to the Excalibur Hotel and started working in the food court. And I had been there for a couple months, and they had a management position that opened up. And I kind of wanted it, but I kind of didn't. I really wanted to pay, but I didn't want to work the hours because I was trying to get back into doing my music stuff. I happened to meet Danny Boy, and me and Danny Boy were talking about his restaurant, and I was telling him, when I have off days or when I don't have anything, on my early days when I get off, I'll come and I'll help you at your restaurant. At that time, he was telling me what he needed, which I was capable of providing for him. So I started going on my off days helping him. I wasn't charging him or nothing. I was just going. I wanted to hang out with Danny Boy. I went to work one day and they started talking about the management position that came up. And this white, blue eyed man looked me dead in my face and told me, after I have managed two other fast food restaurants, that I was not qualified to manage a fast food restaurant. And it was how he did it, how he said it, and he did it in front of everybody. Now, at this point, I hadn't even decided if I wanted the job or nothing. But at that point, I didn't want nothing. So I told my homegirl, I don't need this job. I clock out and I will not come back. And just so happened on my off day, one of the employees accused me of stealing $5, a $5 tip. It was costing me more than $5 to get to work every day. So yeah, that $5 tip, I don't know what they thought I was gonna do with it, but yeah, no need for me to steal a $5 tip. I never went back. I never went back. I went and started working for Danny Boy. Best thing I ever did in my career. Shout out to Danny Boy. I love him dearly. Danny Boy told me, you come over here, do what you want to do, help me, I'm going to help you, and we going to get it popping, and we did. Thank you to the white man that looked me in my eyes and told me I wasn't qualified to run his little raggedy ass restaurant at the Excalibur. That's why y'all over there falling apart now, and y'all need employees. Apparently, me quitting and not coming back inspired a few other people to do the same. Shout out to Lavender, because me and Lavender met at Excalibur, and Lavender been pursuing his music career ever since. Shout out to Lavender. Shout out to Marquisha. Marquisha said I inspired her. She left that raggedy motherfucker too. What you not gonna do is talk to me crazy at the workplace in front of a whole bunch of people because you trying to be funny because you think I'm some little raggedy ass black girl. And then I'm gonna tell y'all, revenge is so sweet. I took my little happy ass up there to Excalibur and bought me some food in the food court. And I told them, y'all make sure, his name was Jason. I said, y'all make sure y'all tell Jason Danielle came by and said hi. And they went and got him out the back. And he said, what you doing now? I said, oh, I'm managing a restaurant down on the strip. You should have seen his face, baby. He couldn't believe it. Thank you, Jason. Best thing you ever did was tell me that I couldn't do something. Anyway, we gotta stop putting pressure on people to be strong and keep going. Stop telling people that you don't want to burden them or you don't want to bug them. Sometimes you need to bug other people. If it's going to help your mental health, tap in with them. Tap in. After everything that's been going on, we want to make sure that we holding each other down, okay? We got to break some of these cycles. We got to break some of these curses. These generational curses, these church curses, these medical traumas. We got to break some of this shit, okay? We got to normalize mental health being a strength, not a weakness. It is okay to say you need some help and go see a therapist. It is okay to know that you don't have it all together. It is okay to say, look, I'm doing bad right now. Mentally, I'm not here. And I need some help. It's okay to say you struggling. It is okay. Stop letting all the bullshit of the past hold y'all down. This black trauma is crazy. Okay? It's crazy. We gotta stop. We gotta stop. It is okay to have dialogue about your feelings, men and women. Let me tell y'all women something. I'm gonna put this out here for the women. If you're in a relationship with a man and he can't talk to you without you throwing it back in his face or you nagging him, you shouldn't be in a relationship. Because that means that man don't have a safe space. And you know what I figured out? Black men do not have a safe space. They do not have a safe space. They do not have a space outside of each other where they can just sit and talk about how they feel, what they're going through. Let me tell you something. Shout out to Kirk Franklin for starting Den of Kings. I watch it every time it come on. I think he about 3 or 4 episodes in. I watch it because it is a safe space for men to talk about their feelings and what they're going through. And as a woman watching that, it lets me know how to deal with a black man, not a man, a black man. Because one thing I could tell you is a black man struggles ain't the same as nobody else. Nobody else. A black man struggles are not the same as nobody else. So if your man can't come home and tell you about his day and how fucked up it was, if he can't ask you to rub his head and turn on the shower, you don't need to be in a relationship. You do not. And see, a lot of people got mad at me when I put up the post talking about women in relationships and y'all out here looking for sponsors. But it's the truth. Because at the end of the day, to hear how many black men are in relationships and don't have a safe space is sad. To hear how many black men say, Well, I don't say anything because if I say something, she just gonna throw it back up in my face. Oh my God. This what y'all out here doing? All we got is each other. All we got is each other. I am so big on black love. A lot of y'all know that too. I'm big on love, but I am so big on black love. I love to see black women and black men love each other and be a safe space for each other. I love it. But we have to be that safe space and allow that safe space. And we can't allow them to say things to us and tell us how they feel, and then we throw it back at them when we mad. Your man come tell you he's struggling because he used to be an alcoholic, and for 3 days he been wanting to be drinking, but he's doing good. He just struggling, and he trying to tell you that, and then tomorrow you get mad. Yeah, that's why you this, blah, 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 and that's why you up here, da, 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 da. And you done drove the man to go back to damn drinking. Women need to take accountability in these relationships. And I'm gonna say this, black women, we got to do better because we are the source of a lot of trauma. We are the source of a lot of trauma with our men, our children. Y'all think it don't hurt y'all children? And people get mad when I talk about this too, and I don't give a damn. Y'all know I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn about nobody trying to cancel me or none of that. Do y'all think it's not traumatic to your children to have 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 baby daddies? Because I do want you to realize that every time you get a new baby daddy, he's not going to treat the other kids the same. Do y'all know how traumatic it is when you have children and you're constantly bringing different men around them, and then they have to try to get accustomed to these men and figure them out? Because most of the time, y'all don't even know them. And as much as we want to talk about black men, I'm going to stick with the statistics on this one. They raise better children. I'm sorry. I might have to agree with that. Men are less emotional. This new generation of boys, they so emotional. You can't say shit to them and they want to shoot. As soon as you say something to them. We got to start encouraging safe spaces. We got to start encouraging emotional intellect, emotional intelligence. We have to start encouraging this. We have to start discouraging unhealthy coping mechanisms, emotional suppression. Let me tell y'all something. Did y'all know that overworking, over hustling, over gigging, overdoing anything in that nature required to work, hustle, gig, overdoing it is a coping mechanism. And this one I'm sure of because I do it. People will tell you when I get to in my feelings and I start feeling any type of way, I start burying myself in work. Horrible, 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 horrible. Horrible way to deal with your feelings, which is why I have a therapist who I will be talking to tomorrow. We need to start encouraging people to verbalize their feelings, verbalize what they're going through. We need to start talking about therapy, encouraging people to go talk to a professional. We need to start encouraging creative expression. You know what I'm saying? Writing music and art and journaling and all these different creative things are good forms. I mean, very, 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 very good forms of therapy. I'm trying to get into some different stuff. I'm actually now if you saw couch conversations last week, oh, I took the book in the house because I was journaling last night. If you watch Couch Conversations last week, you would see I bought a book called oh my god, now I can't even think about it. But it's a journal for creatives. It's a journal for creatives, and I'll post it after in the comments. It's a journal for creatives, and I journal as much as possible. Not every night, but as much as possible. And I try to use different forms of creativity to get stuff off my head because trauma doesn't go away. It doesn't go away. You just find ways to deal with it. You find ways to deal with it. Um, I want to encourage everybody, if you need a therapist, this is the link right here. Growtherapy.com. I give this to everybody. Go in, put your information in. They help you find a therapist. Hey, cousin, every Thursday night at 8 o'clock. Growtherapy.com. And tonight, I really want you to just take in everything that I've talked about, everything that we've talked about, because y'all have been such a great audience tonight. Everything that we've talked about, I want you to try to remove the trauma from your family. Remove the trauma from your life. Period. If you go into a church and you feel like your church traumatized you, get on. It's I'm gonna tell you, it's a million churches out there. And one thing that I heard somebody say that hit me when I quit my church was, I drive past a million churches every Sunday to be here. So if somebody's coming to your church, you need to love them because they could be at somebody else's church doing something else, helping somebody else, growing somebody else's ministry. And I do want to say this before I leave as well. Y'all stop traumatizing y'all church musicians. Y'all have a bad habit of traumatizing church musicians. Now, if your church musician is just jumping from church to church to church to church to church, it might be the musician. But if your specific church can't keep musicians, it's y'all. Stop traumatizing y'all church musicians. Um, we just want to open up dialogue. We want to get dialogue going and have conversations about healthy conversations about trauma and how to get rid of trauma. Because trauma is real, mental health is real, struggles are real, but there's always a way to heal. Healing is always there. It's possible. We don't have to just be surviving. You know, if you don't want to find a therapist, find somebody that you can talk to and vent to with no judgment and no talk back. Just vent. And we need to start a conversation about self-care. We need to take on self-care, and we really need to just embrace all of these things. If there's anything that I said that triggered you, that applies to you, let's have a conversation on how to fix it. Let's get some good patterns going. Some patterns on how to fix it and get out of this trauma. Okay? Ooh, my eye burning. I think I talked about everything I wanted to talk to tonight. Y'all know I usually don't go this long with Couch Conversations. It's supposed to be a 1 hour show. But I did. I wanted to make sure that I got everything out about mental health tonight because I didn't want to do a part 2. But we got to do better, y'all. We got to do better. Stop going to church expecting people to be perfect. The church is a hospital, and some people are in the emergency room. Everybody's not an outpatient. Everybody's not a visitor. Stop traumatizing your family. Stop telling your children what goes on in this house stays in this house. Give them some alternatives. Stop expecting treating people different because of color or favoritism. We got to do better all the way around as a community. And once we fix ourselves, we fix our families, then we can move on and get on and do better with each other. Because, baby, if we don't get it together, we finna be left behind. If y'all ain't seeing what's going on in the world right now, everybody's coming together but us. All we doing is coming together to line dance. We got to get it together. And we can't get it together and we walking around full of trauma. Okay? It has been a very good show tonight. I appreciate y'all for letting me talk to y'all and with y'all about trauma and mental health in the Black community. Thank you to everybody that tuned in. I really, really, really appreciate it. If you would like to get in touch with me, you can email me at couchconversationslive@gmail.com. You can also catch me on Facebook, Couch Conversations Live. Also, IG, Couch Conversations Live. Also at the website, divinemanagement.weebly.com/Couch Conversations Live. And please go subscribe on YouTube at The Real Danni Gyrl. Join us next week. We are going to, join us Tuesday for the Danni Gyrl Show at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Make sure you download the Podbean app. You need the Podbean app to get the show. I had people asking me, how do you get the show? You need the Podbean app. You get the Podbean app, and you can either search the Danni Gyrl Show or you can click on the link that I post. But it airs every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you would like to sit your music or vote for the top 5 countdown, tell me at therealdannigirl@gmail.com. Danni with an I, girl with a Y. Or you can call or text me at 702-578-716. Also, if you would like to be on the show or if you have questions, please contact me at 702-578-6716. Make sure you text me. Please don't call me. I do not answer numbers that are not programmed in my phone. Also, see you next Thursday, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Our topic will be modern day dating and relationships. If you would like to be a guest on the show next week, let me know. I have space. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. I thank y'all so much because literally almost everybody that was on the live has been on the whole 2 hours. So I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. Thank you, cousin. Love you. All right. And thank you to everybody for tuning in. I appreciate y'all so much. And as I say every week, peace and have a divine night. Don't let these people trauma go with you. Leave it. Leave it somewhere. Shake the trauma. Let's move on. Let's move forward. Let's heal. Let's live life.